Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the June 7th and our June 21st City Council meetings. Thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We're in the heat of the summer here, and we had a pretty warm one for our first Summer in the City meeting.
Yeah, well, in fact, we actually thought about even maybe postponing it, but then it was like, it's South Lynn Park. We got shade, supposed to have a breeze, and it really wasn't bad.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And there was a lot of shade there, so pretty good turnout. Had a lot of folks out checking out the tables. It was our first Summer in the City meeting where people come and talk to city leaders, various city departments have tables set up, and some fun things to do as well.
It's a really great event, and I really encourage residents to get out and check them out, because we're literally bringing our departments out to the parks. And if you have any questions about anything in the city, if you're wondering about our water, our sewer, our streets, our engineering, if you're wondering about, I want to rewire something, there's inspectors to talk to. There's just our police and our fire, and we've got the Coon Creek watershed is usually there. It's just I can't imagine a question you could have that you couldn't get an answer to that night.
Yeah, and you don't have to go through a phone tree to try to get to who you want. They're all just right there for you.
Yeah, and it's fun. The golf course is there, and they've got some little chip games. There's an opportunity to enter a raffle to get to win Kendall's gift cards. It's a great night. The firefighters are handing out ice cream and cold water.
Yeah,
it's great.
And we even had a guy making giant bubbles at our first meeting.
That was something. The balloon.
I can't think of the name off the top of my head either.
Yeah, but it was phenomenal. I mean, he had those big, huge balloons going, and the kids were loving it, and he had lots of wands for the kids to make big bubbles with. And I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he'll be back, but it was really good.
I think he was just at this meeting, but like the Bubble Master or something. Something or
Bubble Wizard. I don't remember.
But. So he was there. There are going to be, as I understand it, our next two meetings that are coming up. There's going to be a food truck at each of those, where people can purchase snacks. So We'll have to see who winds up there, and those are coming up here in the next couple weeks.
Right. So, next week actually. Yeah. June 28th we'll be at Rockslide Park, which is over 112th and I don't remember what it is. Swallow Street, I think it is. Yep. And then July 12th we'll be out at Crooked Lake Park. Okay. And Rockslide's a great neighborhood park. Yeah. Crooked Lake has become a very big destination park because it's right on, of course, the banks of Crooked Lake, and it's just completely remodeled or renovated a couple years ago, and it's a great park.
All right, 6:30 to 8 p.m. You should have received the city newsletter in your mailbox around the beginning of June. Yeah. If you haven't, you can find all this information on the city's website, coonrapidsmn.gov.
Yeah, that newsletter, that has everything. If you want to know anything about what's going on around town, that's got this calendar for everything. Yeah. If you've got kids, if you're just interested in whatever it is, it's in there.
Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our the first meeting we want to talk about on Tuesday, June 21st here. We had a proclamation at the beginning. This is for the Coon Rapids Women of Today.
Yeah. This is a great group of, it's actually, apparently the men can be in this club too. Yep. But it's Coon Rapids Women of Today. We did a proclamation for them declaring that day, Women of Today Day in Coon Rapids. One of their officers, Jean, was in to receive the proclamation, and they're involved in a lot of things. They help out with Alexandra House. They help out with various other charities or groups around the town. They were active participants when we were having our chili competition, and I hope we bring that back because that really was a fun event. Yeah. In fact, they won that chili competition and went on to represent us down in Fridley at a different chili competition.
All right.
But great group, and it's always fun when they come back in to see us.
Yeah, another opportunity for folks to sort of give back to their community and do some service work.
Yep.
All right, July 1st, I believe, is Coon Rapids Women of Today Day.
There you go.
All right. Moving forward, Council accepted the 2021 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, and this seemed to have some good news.
Yeah. So we had a new auditing firm this year, and every year we get rave reviews from our auditors, we have to change auditors every few years. Yeah. But the one consistent thing from the auditing firms is their they're rave reviews of our finance department, of our management, of how we handle our money, and this new company came in and they just couldn't believe how cooperative everybody was, and especially we just had a change. Our finance director left, and we have an interim finance director, and so they came in anticipating some issues, and they couldn't believe it. Everything was just laid out for them, so now what we have is we have the 2021 annual comprehensive financial report. So we start with a proposed budget, and then we get to an adopted budget, and then at the end of the year, the whole year, all the financials are put together and audited, and now this is on our city website. And if you want to know every dollar we spent, it's in interest of full transparency, everything is here. So if you wonder what we spend on police and fire, streets, whatever it is, it's all in that report. It's all on the city website. It's all been audited, approved, good to go.
All right, that is good. And financially, we're sitting in a pretty good spot.
We're sitting in a pretty good spot. For example, normally at the end of the year, we like to have at least 45% of our fund revenue, and we were actually at 61 or 62%. So financially, we're in good shape right now.
All right.
Coon Rapids has consistently invested in infrastructure, invested in keeping in what we need to do to keep a good place to live, and we're just trying to maintain that.
Yeah, and it's a tricky place, also balancing your debt. How much debt do you want to carry?
Right.
But there are stuff that needs to be done, and sometimes that's a way to do it.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Council adopted a resolution establishing a new polling location this is Ward 5, Precinct 1.
Yeah, so this is, that used to be the First Baptist Church, like 10936 Foley Boulevard, sold, and a different church purchased it, and for whatever reason, it's just not open for us to use as a polling center.
Yeah.
So now our clerk then went out and they had to find another polling center within a mile of the precinct, and we're set up to use Northdale Middle School. Northdale Middle School?
Yep.
Yeah, up on Dogwood Street.
Yep.
So if your original polling place was that church on Foley Boulevard, 10936 Foley Boulevard, now you're going to be voting at Northdale Middle School.
Okay, and folks that are registered will get a postcard in the mail, basically talking to them about this change. And the primary election is actually coming up pretty quickly here on Tuesday, August 9th.
Tuesday, yeah. So, yeah, and that's traditionally a kind of a lower turnout, but it has some significant impacts. So I encourage folks to do their due diligence, just like November, and get out on August 9th to vote.
Yeah, and actually absentee balloting actually starts this week, Friday, June 24th.
Yeah, they call it envelope voting.
Yeah.
Because your ballots go into an envelope until a certain time when they get run through the machine then.
Yeah, and then starting like a week before, I think, the actual election, you can actually run it through yourself if you vote absentee or early. All right, moving forward, Council considered the east and west water treatment plant roof replacement bids, and in the end, these were all rejected, correct?
Correct. This is a really big project, and we had 3 bids, and the low bidder, which would normally be if they meet all the qualifications, that's who we would take. The documentation submitted did not comply with requirements per the project specifications and must be rejected. And then rather than just go to the next bid, which was several $100,000 higher, they just want to go back out for bids again.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're anticipating that low bid will come back in with the right documentation. I don't know.
Okay, and this is not uncommon. I mean, it happens sometimes where you do have to just wind up rejecting and starting over.
Right, yeah. I mean, every once in a while you only get one bid or the bids just aren't, it's not a favorable bidding market.
Yeah. So. All right. Council considered a joint powers agreement with the Coon Creek Watershed District. This is for Epiphany Creek Biochar Iron Enhanced Sand Filter Project. This is something where we're trying to keep up the quality of our water, correct?
Yep. This removes the E. coli, the phosphorus, things like that coming down the creek. prevents it from basically ending up in the Mississippi River. Any of these tributaries, if we can clean them up, clean the water up on the way down to the river, we're doing our part in helping to try and clean up the river. And this is primarily funded by the Coon Creek Watershed District and a Clean Water Fund grant administered by the Minnesota Board of Water and Soil Resources. And the city will incur minimal costs for city staff time related to project coordination.
Okay, I was going to say there's not much that we have to put into this. It's basically you guys approving the joint powers agreement to allow them to do this project.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And we had another joint powers agreement. This one was with Anoka County. This is for the Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Program. And this is actually a good project, a safety improvement project that they're talking about doing next year in front of Coon Rapids High School.
Yeah, so if you've been by Coon Rapids High School, you've seen the beautiful new entry and remodeling that's gone on there. And what that did is that moved the main entrance to the east, and now you've got to get everything else realigned with that. Additionally, that's never been a great crossing there. No. It's never been well marked. It's I think by God's grace, we've had very few problems there. Yeah. And this is going to be, it's going to put the dynamic flashers out there. It's going to make it safer over by the entrance by Wren Street. Yep. It's kind of a comprehensive project just to make it safer around the school. And it should work a lot nicer. Okay,
so this is a joint powers agreement with Anoka County. The school district is involved as well in portions of the project. You guys also had to amend the revolving construction fund for, this is some of the pre-work, correct, I believe?
Yeah, that sounds right. And the reason it's a joint powers with the county is Northdale Boulevard is actually County State Aid Highway 11.
Right.
Right through town. That's why we had to bring the county in on it.
Okay. So this was something they were maybe going to try to do it this year, but it didn't work out. So it'll be sounds like the summer of 2023. And it looks like the portion of the city's design cost is around $28,500. That's in advance of the work. So the city and the county will share the costs, which is $57,000. So we're paying half of that.
Thank you. I've got it up here now, in case you have any other questions.
For now, and then yes, the bigger portion of the project and the expense will come next year when the actual construction takes place. Yep. But like you said, it will be nice, safer. A lot of people use that. The crosswalk will also line up now with the new entrance and the stadium entrance as well. So, yep. And that is highly used, especially on those football nights.
Friday night football games.
All right, that is all we have to talk about from our June 21st meeting. We want to move back now to our first meeting of the month, which took place on June 7th. The first item there, talking about a resolution accepting the Community Strength Foundation's donation in the amount of $9,350, and this is for the annual summer concert series.
Yeah, so every year our Arts Commission arranges to have bands. We do it in partnership with Anoka County Parks. Down at the Coon Rapids Regional Dam Park, normally there's a daily parking fee and you can buy an annual fee. Yeah. But Thursday nights for the concerts in the park, they waive the entrance fee, so you can enter the dam for free. And then our summer concert series, we've got 3, 6, 9 bands through the summer. And the Community Strength Foundation gave us a donation of $9,350 to cover the 9 bands. And then just for the next couple weeks, we've got tonight, Rocky Lynn, June 23rd, although nobody will see this until after June 23rd, probably.
They could. We could get it up by 5 o'clock. They can see it and get down to the concert quick.
And then July 7th is Raquel and the Wildflowers. And then July 14th is Eric Christensen and his support group, a blues band. And July 21st, the Dirty Shorts Band. And then there's 3 more bands coming up in July and August, but we've probably got more meetings between now and then.
Yeah, that gives you a taste. Of course, you can find that on the city's website as well. The listing, they start at 7 o'clock, usually rain or shine, unless there's maybe a big threat of severe weather. Yeah. But lots of fun. They sell food down there as well.
Yeah, so the North Star Lions are down there selling food. You have to get there early because they pack up and they get out of there pretty early. But then the Boy Scouts are down there with popcorn and candy and pop and water. And this actually would have come in everybody's water bill with the bands. Otherwise, it's on the newsletter. Yep. It's also in that city newsletter that came out. Yeah. On the city's website, I meant.
Yeah. All right, well, check it out. Get down there. We've had some good weather so far for the first couple of concerts. Moving forward, Council approved a maintenance agreement for Aspen Park fast pitch facilities. I guess I didn't realize that this park had sort of become a fast pitch facility.
Yeah, it's been modified over the last couple of years. Yeah. And this used to be the home of Central Little League. That's what it was built out as. The concession stand was built by them. Yeah. And then Central Little League merged with National Little League and became Cardinal Little League. Okay. And then all of their games now are really down in the Riverview field, where the old, former National, now that's Cardinal Little League. Yep. And fast pitch has been operating in town for, I think 20 years, I don't know, a long time anyway, without really having a home. They've been moving all over the place. And now this is the fast pitch softball's home. So we entered into a maintenance agreement with them. I think it's $1,000 a year that they're paying the city for what we provide. But then this is now their home. And they're the affiliated provider of fast pitch programs in the city. And over approximately 15 years, they've developed a program, bouncing from various city facilities. And let's see here. And then the association conducts a youth fast pitch program for Coon Rapids area youth, which has benefited children over the years and which enhances the recreation programs provided by the city. So yeah, mutual benefits. This is a great fit.
Yeah, 20 years it looks like they've been around for approximately. So
yeah.
And so this covers an agreement for the maintenance, utilities, and then also the use of the concession stand.
Yep.
All right. Council accepted a right of entry in stormwater operations and maintenance agreements for the Dollar General. On its own, this doesn't sound very exciting, but there has been a lot of questions out there I've seen on social media about people wondering all the trees that were taken down at the corner of Hanson and Coon Rapids Boulevard.
In Dollar General, it's really interesting because people have this, it's like, oh, that's great, or oh, no, And it's funny because Dollar General isn't a regular dollar store. Dollar General is more like a convenience store, or however you see. I mean, you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's, predominantly everywhere in the South.
Let's also say everything is not $1 or $1.25 at the Dollar General.
Well, because it's not a dollar store.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. I think they named their store before all the dollar stores started, and so it's At any rate, so this was a piece of property that the church down there owned, but it was separated from it by a street. I think eventually they thought maybe they would need it for parking, but they just didn't need the parking space. Yeah. Eventually sold it off, and Dollar General has purchased it, and it fits within, along Coon Rapids Boulevard there. Yeah. Especially now with Kathy's dairy store closing, it's nice to have another opportunity or another option for folks down there. Yeah. It's hard to see all those trees go.
Yeah.
It always is, but. When you're going to replace it with a 10,000 square foot store and a parking lot, it requires the trees to go.
Right, and if it's zoned, it's zoned for this. They're not doing anything. I see comments too, like Coon Rapids doesn't like trees. It's like that's not
it.
Not the case.
No, we don't own it. It's not ours.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to preserve the trees and come in with an operation, we would love to see that proposal.
Yeah.
But we can't say. No, it's just not reasonable. Yeah. There's something called private property rights. So
yeah. So the trees they did take down, and I imagine construction will begin on that property. Folks will eventually see a building going up.
I think sooner than later. Yeah, they're going to town down there.
Yeah. All right. Council adopted a resolution accepting a donation to our Multicultural Advisory Commission. This was a pretty nice donation.
It was. Yeah, it's nice to see the utility companies stepping up like this. Yeah. This was actually from Connexus Energy. Yeah. And it was $2,500 for promotional materials for the MAC. So the MAC, of course, is our Multicultural Advisory Commission. Yep. And this is for them to produce brochures and whatever to hand out at the neighborhood meetings and, and probably Night to Unite, I would think.
Yeah.
So it's $2,500 for that.
Yep. And then we had another donation to our police department.
$2,300 from Centerpoint Energy for the police department for our training center.
Okay.
And which actually, if you go there and look at it, it's the Carlson Training Center.
Okay.
When Detective Carlson, who had been involved in our training for a long, long time, retired, it was at the time they were opening this new training facility, and they surprised him with a very nice legacy in calling it the Carlson training center.
That is great. Always nice to see companies and other places donating. Couldn't do all this stuff without these donations.
$2,300 from Centerpoint Energy. That's a nice donation. Yeah.
All right. Moving forward, Council considered a joint powers agreement with Anoka County. This is for the Coon Creek Bridge, or Coon Creek Boulevard Bridge. Coon Creek Boulevard,
Yep.
The Coon Creek Bridge replacement, right?
Right.
Something like that.
Right. Yeah. And this is
kind of surprising, right? We hadn't really heard this.
No, to me it was a surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this was on the radar. Yeah. But this is the bridge north of Main Street. Like if you're by Lowe's.
Yeah.
So, and then you go north on Coon Creek Boulevard. Yeah. You almost immediately cross that bridge.
Yes.
And based on the availability of materials, the project will occur in either 22-23 or 23-24. And I think there's some widening. They need to replace all the gutters or the culverts under it to make a new bridge.
Yeah.
But it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And the city's portion of it is only like $8,300. So
okay.
It seems like we can come up with that for enhanced use.
Yeah. So it's the Coon Creek Boulevard Bridge over Coon Creek. There's lots of Coon Creeks.
Yeah. And I would say that it's actually when it's culverts, is it considered over Coon Creek or?
I don't know.
Because it kind of goes through there.
Or, something that's going away.
Yeah.
And it is kind of an interesting area because there's that lane that sort of ends at the bridge or right around there. So I imagine they'll maybe smooth a little of that out and.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much of that isn't what they're going to do there, but they're also it'll include improvements to the existing pedestrian curb ramps and sidewalk and trail connections to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, and the county will be responsible responsible for performing project management and administration as well as construction inspection.
Okay, so it sounds like 2023 or 2024 is when this is going to be happening.
Yep.
All right.
Based on materials.
All right. Speaking of that, we did learn a little bit more too, as long as we're talking about construction. It sounds like the railroad's going to replace the bridge on Coon Rapids Boulevard extension, correct?
Yeah, they've been talking about this for a number of years. Yeah. In fact, a couple of years ago, they tried to get us to just sell them that bridge.
Yeah.
And so they could just turn it into a berm.
So didn't they want to close the road or something? They wanted to shut down the road.
Which would shut down the road.
Yeah.
Which didn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Right.
Especially for the amount of money they were talking about, it really didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So they'll be redoing that bridge on Coon Rapids Boulevard extension, so that road will be closed for a while they're doing that work.
Okay. It sounds like at this point, the dates aren't set, but maybe end of July into fall. So we'll have more, obviously, as we learn it.
I'd have to go back and look at the meeting to see what Mr. Hammer said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said?
That's what I recall today.
All right.
That's what I've reported, so I hope I'm correct. But again, we'll have updates as we learn more about that project.
Yeah, and that's going to be nice because those bridges are so old. I mean, those were there when that was Highway 10, and they're just rough looking. Yeah. So that'll be nice.
All right. Well, that's the end of that meeting that we have to talk about. This week, the Coon Rapids Farmers Market opened for the season.
Yeah. Over at Boulevard Plaza, the Coon Rapids Ice Center, 11,000 Crooked Lake Boulevard.
All right.
Yeah. The Farmers Market is open, and that's always a great event. Fresh veggies, all kinds of things over there.
Yeah, and they're a little earlier than normal. Usually they don't open until July, so stuff is still growing, obviously. So it does start a little bit slow as far as the number of vendors, but that will pick up as the growing season progresses and people will find more stuff. All the way to October 12th is the last Wednesday, but it's every Wednesday from 3 to 6 p.m. in the parking lot of the Ice Center.
Okay.
And then we have Night to Unite coming up as well. People can register right now for that.
Yeah, and if Night to Unite is such a great such a great opportunity for neighbors to get out and meet each other.
Yeah.
If you've never organized a Night to Unite party and you would like to have one in your neighborhood, just go to the city's website under Night to Unite link. Mm-hmm. Everything is there. Yep. From the how to invite people, if you need your street blocked, how to and our police department is happy to help you, with your organization. It's they're great. We normally have over 100 of them in the city, and it's just always wonderful when you stop by and neighbors are meeting each other for the first time, or like Chief Wise talks about how much stronger and safer a neighborhood is when the neighbors know each other.
Yeah.
And so I encourage folks to get involved.
Yeah, so if you're thinking of doing that, get registered here. Again, you can find the information on the city's website. Register in the next couple of weeks. That secures your spots for visits from the police department and the fire department, along with some promotional materials to use at your party.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they're great events.
Yeah, so Tuesday, August 2nd is National Night Out this year.
Yeah, if you haven't been invited to a party, plan one and just host your own.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our upcoming 4th of July celebration here.
4th of July, oh my gosh, it's back. It's the full event.
Yeah, 3 days this year, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So Saturday, July 2nd is the first day. There will be a car show that day. There will be a music that night. I think you had
I have all the information.
Yeah, you had all the information.
That cuts it off, but 5 to 11, is it the car show on the first night?
Yeah, that's the very first thing on the page, 5 to 11 car show.
Saturday, July 2nd is at the bottom of this page.
And then there's a band that night from 6 to 10, the Castaways. There'll be food trucks. North Star Lions will be there running the beer tent. July 3rd, Sunday, there'll be a parade at 1 p.m. that leaves and returns to the carnival grounds there.
Yes.
And then that night, 6 to 10, is the City Knights Band. That's actually sponsored by the Shortstop.
Okay.
They're covering the band for us. And then 5 to 10 that night is our first annual Coon Rapids all-school or all-class reunion. Back in 2009, a committee got together and organized an all-class reunion in conjunction with the 50th anniversary of Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
And so that was a really well-attended event, about 1,500 people. And the committee really worked hard to put it together. And now what we're trying to do is we're going to do one every single year in conjunction with the carnival. So we're trying to make it simpler, something easily replicable. So this is the first of those annual events.
Okay.
And so every year you can just count on coming together, probably the second night of the carnival. Yeah. And we'll be in a 50 by 80 tent.
So it'll be a big tent is what
50 by 80 tent. Our Public Works created us some nice street signs, dividing the classes up by 5-year increments. Okay. So you can kind of generally organize by the year you graduated. Okay. And it should be a lot of fun. Yeah. We're going to raise some funds for the Coon Rapids Scholarship Association from the all-class reunion. And the North Star Lions have been most gracious in giving us our tip jars for the day to cover that. So. Nice. Okay, so that's Sunday.
The 3rd, yes.
The 3rd. Monday the 4th starts out 8 a.m. with the Firecracker 5K. 9:30 a.m. is the Kids Sparkler Dash. 6 to 10 that night is the Rocking Hollywoods. And then 10 p.m. is the fireworks. And those are fabulous fireworks. Yeah. And we have tens of thousands of people that come for those. So the one thing is, if you're going to drive in, just kind of chill.
Yeah, yeah. There's only so much parking around there, so everybody's just got to.
There's so much parking, and there's only so much lane capacity to get out of there.
Yes.
So, but it's still way better for getting people out than St. Creek, where it used to be.
Yes, yes. So that's on the 4th, obviously.
That's on the 4th.
So again, all this is taking place at Boulevard Plaza, which is right adjacent to the Coon Rapids Ice Center, July 2nd through the 4th. Yep. All of this information is on the city's website, coonrapidsmn.gov.
And in that city newsletter.
And in the city newsletter, wherever I have it, right here. Should have come to your home. If you don't have a copy, you can also get these printed copies at City Hall, and there's also a PDF of the full newsletter on the website as well.
Yeah, that's one thing. We really want everybody to know about what's going on because we want you to show up.
Yeah, and don't put on these events for no reason, right? We need people to show up.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Is there anything else you want to add?
Oh gosh, Steve, I don't know what it would be.
We're making it halfway through the year here.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in today and joining us for City Council Comments. Thank you at home for watching. Have a great 4th of July, and we'll see you back here again in July.